Hi, so I want to show you something mind-blowing. ChatGPT 5 is able to create screen flows, right? We all know that AI and ChatGPT is kind of not that great at creating flows, supposedly because it cannot generate XML files, right, so that you can insert inside, or it cannot really do the visual stuff. But I tried to actually see if that's true or not, and I asked it, hey, can you create screen flow? Let me make it a bit bigger that asks a person name and then prints out hello username, right? So just the simplest possible like hello world flow. And first of all, it said, "Hey, here's how you do it," and I was like, "No, no, 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 ChatGPT, but I want you to do that." That's what I said, and then it worked for 15 minutes. It asked me to log in. I actually logged in into my Salesforce, and then here's how it looked like. So it all took 23 minutes, which is absolutely not the time you should be spending on creating such a simple flow, right? But in this time, I was actually out and drinking some tea and coffee, right? So first it opened Salesforce, right? And then it kind of opened the flow, right? And here you can see it all kind of annotates what's going on there, right? So this is live recap. So we go here and then it goes here and says, I will click the plus sign after start element to add a new element to flow builder. This is part of, and then I did not manage to read it. Okay, the add element panel is visible. I select screen element, right? So it's kind of smart enough to recognize that you need to click on the plus and then you need to select the screen element. Okay, so it selects the screen element and then we end up in this. And this is where I thought that ChatGPT is gonna be confused because there's a lot of stuff going on there, right? Like you need to fill out the label, but look what it does. It says label, and it says the API name is currently blank, so I'll click outside. If you didn't manage to read it, it says I'll click on it to trigger autofill process. And look what happens. It clicks on it and it fills out immediately the API name, which is like a normal behavior of the API names usually, right, in Salesforce. But it's mind-blowing that ChatGPT kind of like knows it and understands that it doesn't need to do the additional clicks. It doesn't need to actually like manually write the API name. I don't know, kind of mind-blowing for me. Okay, so then it will try to drag and drop stuff, and you'll see it will miss, but then it will just click on it, and I think it's gonna end up actually working. So see, it added by accident. It added two different text elements, even though we only need one, right, to ask the name. Okay, and then it's gonna delete it. It's gonna delete the text element. So it recognized that it made a mistake, and it's gonna kind of solve this mistake thing, right? So it clicks on delete, and then it goes and fill out the name, and then clicks on done. And this is where I stopped actually looking at this, because I was like, I cannot just sit here for 10 minutes and look at like clicking for 5 minutes for a basic flow. So I went on a break. I got myself a cup of tea, and I kept doing this, and now it understands that in order to have some kind of state in between, you need to save, right? So you ask for some kind of value in the flow, and then you save this value into a variable, and then you print out this variable that you can reuse later in the flow anywhere. So it knows those things, right? It knows, even though it is maybe not that great at creating different some kind of XMLs. It understands that this is gonna work and this is how you should approach it, right? Because it has this whole training on the whole internet, and it inhaled the whole trailhead basically. So it sees that it's text variable, and then let's see how many it's gonna check. If it's gonna check anything, I don't think it checked anything for output, right? So it says resource blah blah blah, and then it's gonna put here what's gonna put the display text, right? And then here's an error. Oh no, what's going on? There's a wrong element. And then see how it like, I don't know what to do, what's going on? But then it deletes, it figures out that I'm gonna delete this, I'm gonna delete that, right? So this is again the same thing that we have seen, right? And then it like at the end it solves the element, and the only mistake that this whole thing has done is that it didn't really Um, let me play this. Right, so let me play for you this in real time. So the only mistake it did is that at the end, it didn't really, it had like two, let me show you the two texts here, right? The two greetings, the two resources basically that it added. It was like the only mistake that it did. It didn't manage to delete it, even though it wanted to delete, right? Like ChatGPT knew that you need to delete it, but somehow didn't manage to. So let me just play for you this in real time. So while I'm speaking, you can kind of have a look how fast and how slow it happens. So you can see it's clicking on this, right? So let me go back here. You can see the whole figuring out and the whole thinking process, it kind of takes a little bit of time, right? So this whole flow that I kind of like very quick backtracked for you, it took like 23 minutes, which it would take a human probably 5 minutes, even if the human is why it does not play? Come on, play. Even if the human is very junior, right? Okay, so see how in real time it thinks how to solve the problem. And this is what's the most mind-blowing for me, right? So everyone makes mistakes, right? You make mistakes, I make mistakes. The process of basically troubleshooting any kind of errors that you get on your job, be it a flow error, an apex error, or any kind of other errors, is kind of the backbone of your whole career. It's kind of what you're paid for, right? Because writing code is relatively easy, but then even AI can do that, right? AI can write a code or maybe create an XML for a flow or like create a flow, but then to actually test it and to actually troubleshoot it, that's the hard part, right? Okay, so now see, it saves the flows, so it knows that it needs to save the flow, and it clicks on the save button, and it's done. Right now, we have seen the whole process, and it's mind-blowing for me to see this whole AI thing just moving on its own and creating stuff that we humans basically do, right? It's crazy. And don't forget that this is the worst it's ever gonna be, right? So in 5 years, imagine how good it's gonna be, right? Because remember, when did we have the ChatGPT? We had it in 2022. So it's been what, 3 years? In 3 years, we went from very, very stupid AI that probably if we have a look at the ChatGPT back then, we would be like, wow, that was really stupid. To this, to basically an agent operating this whole thing on its own and creating a visual flow, something that I thought is going to be like really, really hard for an agent to do. And of course, it's a very simple example, but again, think about the future, think how it's going to be in the future. So this kind of comes to the point where a lot of people say, um, ChatGPT AI is gonna replace developers. Look at this, guys. If developers are gonna get replaced by AI, all of you gonna be replaced by AI, right? If developers will be replaced, the AI will be able to do the admin work too. Your flows are not secure. Your flows are gonna be click, 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 done as well, right? They just need to get faster. So, in my opinion, the real way to prevent your job from being replaced is first to learn AI, right? To learn how to deal with this, to integrate in your daily life. To some extent, it's possible, of course. The AI is not very perfect right now. And also to have a job that is not that replaceable. And the jobs that are not that replaceable are the developer jobs, are the jobs that kind of involve the whole complexity of Salesforce. The more complex your job is, the kind of the harder it is to replace it for AI, because then AI needs to get way more smarter, right? Now, I tried to run similar tests for development. It didn't really work, mainly because there's so much more that AI needs to consider, right? Whenever you're developing, let's say you develop a simple trigger, you need to consider what kind of flows do you have, what kind of automations are already there, what is the current architecture of your code, right? So you cannot just go and like just spit it out a trigger in vacuum and just like throw it in the org, right? No, you need to kind of investigate, you need to have a look, and that's why AI, they still cannot really do very well the developer jobs, Also, they cannot really do the admin jobs. They just can do very simple flows, right? It's by no means it's any type of replacement. But my point is that you need to get ready. You need to do something about your career that kind of ensures that you're not getting replaced, because this thing is moving fast, and who knows what's gonna be in 2026, right? So learn AI, learn coding, be irreplaceable. See you.